I hope you've had a great week and you are looking forward to being in church Sunday to worship the Lord Jesus, and you're inviting people to come with you. Remember, our theme in 2025 is praying for the harvest starts with me. So praying for God to give you an opportunity to invite someone to church, asking God to give you an opportunity to have a gospel conversation with someone, praying for people by name, reaching out to people and inviting them. People are never going to be saved unless I and you pray, invite, and talk to people. So let's do that. And remember, Sunday night is our night of worship at 5 p.m. See you then. Today we are in Proverbs 15, as you know, each Friday until we reach through all 31 chapters in Proverbs. We're looking at one of the chapters in Proverbs. Today is chapter 15, and I'm starting to sound like a broken record, because I love the book of Proverbs. And this one is filled with so much we could talk about. But as I started reading it, what really jumped out at me was the different verses that say something about our speech, the way we talk, and so on. And so I want to focus for a few moments on some of those verses. For instance, look at verse 1 with me in Proverbs 15. He says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." That's very true. And what he's saying is, when someone is upset, don't stoke the flames. Don't stoke the fire. Don't throw more wood on there. A gentle answer turns away wrath, calms things down. A lot of wisdom there. Look at verse 2. "The tongue of the wise makes knowledge acceptable, but the mouth of fools spouts folly." The tongue of the wise makes knowledge acceptable or attractive. I think sometimes some believers, some Christians, and if you get into the political world, some conservatives or some liberals, they don't care about being persuasive. They just want to be right and shout it, and they don't care how it comes across. They don't care how they sound, sometimes the messenger communicates truth in such a way that nobody will even listen to the truth. And what he's saying here is, don't be that kind of person. Communicate the truth in a way that the way you communicate it doesn't become the hindrance to them even hearing the truth. Now, some people are going to be offended by the truth no matter what. But let's just be honest. A lot of conservative Christians, and I'm speaking as that because that's what I am, and liberals do it, yes, but I'm speaking to my tribe. A lot of conservative Bible-believing Christians sometimes don't care how we sound when we communicate the truth, and don't realize that nobody's even listening to what we say. It's one thing if they're offended by the truth, but for them to not even listen to it because of how we communicate it, that's on us. And what he's saying here is the wise person knows how to communicate God's truth in a way so that his communication style isn't part of the problem. By the way, that principle applies in marriage and relationships too. Look with me at verse 4. He says, "A soothing tongue is a tree of life, but perversion in it crushes the spirit." There's great value in encouraging people and speaking life into people, not just always crushing them with your words. Look at verse 7. "The lips of the wise spread knowledge, and the hearts of fools are not so." The lips of the wise spread knowledge. In order to help people understand, we have to make sure that we know what we're talking about and that we are right, we are accurate. The wise person spreads knowledge. And I think in our culture where everybody gets into their tribes and they only hear people in their tribe and they've only got one or two or three sources they go to, or all the sources they go to are just alike, and it's like we're in an echo chamber and we think we know stuff. The truth is you don't know as much as you think you do, because you're just looking at things from one perspective, and that's usually an incomplete and at times even inaccurate perspective. This goes with the next verse, verse 14, where he says, "The mind of the intelligent seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on folly." Seeks knowledge. Don't repeat the first thing you hear. Don't even necessarily believe the first thing you hear. I've made it a habit in our divided culture with so much craziness and people caring about winning more than being truthful, that I read and listen to a lot of different perspectives, because I find a lot of times the truth is not totally on one side or the other. It may not always be right in the middle, but there are shades of truth in different places. And if I want to be wise, I seek the truth. I don't just repeat what my echo chamber is saying. And that is a major issue in modern America, on the left and on the right. And unfortunately, sometimes infiltrates the church. Seek knowledge before you speak. Make sure you know what you are talking about and that it's accurate. Verse 23. He says, a man has joy in an apt, fitting, appropriate answer, and how delightful is a timely word, knowing when to speak and what to say. Great value in that. Verse 26, evil plans are an abomination to the Lord, but pleasant words are pure. Pleasant words are pure. The NIV translates it, gracious words are pure. Think about that. God is saying words spoken that are gracious and pleasant, God says those words are pure. They are undefiled. They're not corrupted. Whereas the speech that comes out of wickedness, well, it's not pure. And then one more verse 28. The heart of the righteous ponders how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked just pours out. What he's saying is, think before you speak. Think before you speak. So a lot of verses in this chapter of Proverbs on speech. And whether it's in your relationship with your spouse, with your children, with your cousins, your siblings, relationships with people at church, at work, in the neighborhood, whether it's political stuff, anything else. These verses about speech, a lot of wisdom here. And the wise person listens and follows this teaching. Now, just real briefly, by way of teaching, look at verse 11, because some of you may have a question about this, and so I want to help you with it a little bit. Verse 11, he says, Sheol and Abaddon, he opens, lie open rather. Sheol and Abaddon lie open before the Lord. Open before the Lord. What is Sheol? Sheol is a Hebrew word that, generally speaking, refers to the realm of the dead. Sometimes it refers specifically to the grave, but it's this underworld, this afterlife where the dead go, without necessarily drawing a delineation between where the good, where the righteous go, like to Abraham's bosom or paradise or heaven, and the unrighteous go to Gehenna, the lake of fire, the hell, and so on. But so Sheol is a broad word encompassing this realm of the dead, and it's open. Everybody's going to die and go into that existence. And then and I didn't really look this up to see exactly how you pronounce it, whether it's Abaddon or Abaddon. Is a word that's used two or three different ways in the Bible, in both the Old and in the New Testament. There's a parallel word in Greek for it that you find in Revelation, for instance. And the word itself means destruction. And quite often it refers to the place of destruction, the place where some of the fallen angels are bound. Not all of the fallen angels are bound, because they are demons active in this world with Satan, but some of them are bound. Sometimes it's synonymous with a powerful evil spirit or even Satan, but it's this place of destruction. It's demonic. So the demonic place in the afterlife, he's just saying this is all open, that just Sheol wants to suck you in, and so does the place of destruction. So that's what he's talking about there, without going into too much detail. Hopefully that gives you a little insight and helps you a little bit. Again, I hope you'll be here and bring somebody with you. Be praying for the harvest this Sunday morning, then Sunday night for a night of worship at 5. And Monday, we'll be back together looking at Exodus chapter 15. God bless you, everybody. Have a great weekend.